Hello, GOTC newbies. This is Mistress Yoda, and we are going to discuss our workshop and siege troops. So, siege are really unique. They have a very special purpose and they're very important. Don't neglect your siege, okay? Um, the siege are made here in your workshop. And they are these guys, right? They are these contraptions that you see here. Siege, siege, siege. All right. So, what's important here? This is one of my baby keeps. Is that siege weapons are the only troops that can damage walls, and they're the only troops that can kill traps in enemy keeps. Traps are pretty much worthless. If you want to protect your troops completely and you're attacking an enemy keep that has some traps inside on your scout report, you can send one march of siege to kill the traps, to protect your other troops once they go in if you want to, but they're weak against the other troop types. Really, traps are worthless anyway. They're not going to hurt your troops too bad attacking somebody. So really, siege is what you want to send to damage walls. Why do you want to damage walls? Well, walls, depending on their level, only have a certain amount of health. Each siege march chips down at the wall's health. So if your goal is to get a keep out of the way, it's in a spot you wanted, an SOP, a seat of power, then you can send nothing but siege troops over and over and over and over. They have a pretty high base health. They don't get wounded as easily as other troop types. And they'll chip away at that wall. And when the wall health reaches 0, that keep will boom, it'll port away and be out of your way, right? You never want to send siege troops if you are farming another keep for resources, meaning you are scouting other keeps. Someone has a tasty little stash of food and wood in there and you want to take and steal their food and wood. Do not send siege. You will chip their wall down and you take a chance that you will cause that keep to random port away once their wall gets to 0 with the resources that you wanted. Not fully emptied and still inside, and now it's somewhere random on the map somewhere, you don't know where it is, and now it's got a bubble, because when you siege something's wall down to 0, another keep, another player, it'll give them a free bubble. It'll port them and give them that free bubble. So, if you want to make them move, send your siege. If there's an occupied seat of power, this does not apply to unoccupied seats. For unoccupied seats that are just brand new unlocking, there's nobody who has them already. You don't need siege. You don't have to mess with their walls. But if there's someone, another player that's in that keep or in that seat of power, you've got to take their wall down to 0 before you can take the seat of power from them. So that's when your siege is important, okay? If you want to move a keep out of your way, or if you need to take an occupied seat of power from another player, you use your siege to break the wall down. And they also are the only troop that can kill traps. So basically, that's what you need to know about siege weapons. If we hit workshop, it basically tells you that much. The workshop level says you can train 36 if you have this, and it unlocks your trebuchet. So at level 13, if I pronounce that wrong, sue me. Anyway, so you hit this eye in the upper right corner. Again, it shows you on the left-hand side that, the level, what the level unlocks. So you can see the type of siege weapon it unlocks at, each milestone. Basically, level 4 unlocks the battering rams, 7 the siege towers, 10 the war wagons, and you go all the way up to at keep level 30. Once you've upgraded your workshop to a 30, you get these wildfire catapults. The power along your right hand side is just how much power it adds to the power bar as you upgrade it to each level. Inside, if you go to train, you'll see your level 1 catapult here, and it'll take 52 food and 38 wood to train a level 1 catapult. Compared to, on here, you can see that if you're training a level 5 or a T5 catapult, it's 204 food, 177 wood, and 8 stone to train each one. Now let's take a look at the difference in how much wall damage each one does, okay? So if you have just, T1 catapults, then you're doing 0.05 wall damage with each individual unit that you're sending. So that's just one. If you sent one catapult at a wall, you do 0.05 damage. Their attack is low. It's only an 8. Their defense, though, is a 10. Their health is 12 for level 1, and their speed is 8. Your siege is slow. If you're hunting creatures and you're just letting it default set your marches, pull your siege out of there. That siege will make your march so slow. It's ridiculous. However, their troop load's decent. For each siege that goes in somewhere, you can carry like 7 food, 7 wood, or 7 stone per T1 siege. So, you can, if you're emptying a keep and you're taking your sweet time and sending slow marches, potentially you could be sending some siege in the beginning to take away more resources fast, like each march. But you have to watch how much wall damage you're doing and watch their wall. And if their wall health starts getting low, don't send any more siege because you don't want to port them away. Those are some different options. So if you've got a 5, for instance, and you look over here, now it's doing 0.09 wall damage for each individual unit, and you see significantly higher is, the attack of each one, the defense, the health. Speed still hasn't changed much, right? Because your level 1, your speed is an 8, and your T5, your speed is still an 8. And they eat 1.6 food per hour per unit at this level. So those are some basics here on Siege. So just remember that these are the only troops that damage walls. They're the only troops that kill traps. So if you hear a player and they're starting a rally or something and they say no siege, that's what it is these guys, okay? Now you look over here and, you can obviously see that when we're looking at wall damage, these are 0. So if you're new and you're confused and you're trying to help rally something and they say, you have siege in there, you can pick it out in your marches by the fact that your regular troops that do not damage walls are all going to show up as faces when you're setting your marches. And your siege are going to, show up as these guys when you're setting your marches. They're going to be the machine looking ones. So I hope that helps to kind of answer what siege is and what they do. And just the main points there, if your goal is to damage walls, your goal is to kill traps inside another person's keep, then you can use siege weapons. But every time you hit a keep, every time you hit a SOP, you're doing wall damage to that by sending siege troops. So this is Mistress Yoda signing out. I hope this helped you understand your siege and your workshop.